The Saints are making the playoffs. Book it!
See this right here? This is how many rings the Cubs had in the last 100 years.
Express yourself. Express yourself.
I'm so excited for this NHL season. Oh, wait.
You don't never need help from nobody else. All you got to do now.
You're watching Outside the Box.
Express yourself.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to the first ever edition of Outside the Box. Outside the Box is a sports debate show where we talk about the hottest topics going on in the world of sports to date. With me are the panel of experts. Michael Brown.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Cujo?
How you doing? How you doing, Clay?
That's good. Jason Doro.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Best day of my life, actually. First of all, last night was World Series Game 2. Madison Bumgarner, starting pitcher for the Giants, mowed down the competition. The Giants won 2-0. What's your guys' reaction to the game last night? We'll start with you, Jason.
Well, obviously San Fran's dominating the series so far. They were able to beat Justin Verlander in Game 1. They definitely got a head up. 50 times in the World Series now, the home team, or any team for that matter, has gone up 2-0 to start the series. 40 times that team has taken it. San Fran's looking like they're set.
Cujo, what do you think?
Well, to be honest, I actually picked the Tigers to win in 6, but it doesn't look that way. There's no way the Tigers win 4 straight games, so I got to give it to the Giants. This thing is over.
Yep, the Giants are hot right now. I mean, they got the Kung Fu Panda. He's got it going right now. I mean, I think things are looking up in San Francisco. I think it only takes 5.
You know what? Everybody can sit here and say, oh, the Giants are up 2-0, so the series is over. You know, I think the Giants might win, but this is not over. You know what I mean? 2-0. They're heading back to Detroit for 2 games. 3 games, actually. Detroit could easily take a couple games to be right back in the series. Now, the sad thing for them is Justin Verlander laid an egg the other night, and that's not good because you had to going into the series, you had to be thinking, you know, this team, they got probably the best pitcher in baseball. They should take care of Game 1 if they want to win the series, and they didn't, so that's the problem. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Tigers come back and win, but I'll probably go with the Giants too, especially with Tim Lincecum coming out of the bullpen. They're tough to beat. All right, last night, it was a good night for me, we'll say that. The Vikings, they got beat pretty bad at home. You know, a lot of people say those Thursday night games aren't bad, but whew, what's your guys' reaction? We'll start with you, Michael, after your hometown team just got, they kind of got waxed.
Well, I mean, Christian Ponder did not have the best game of his life.
No, he didn't.
He couldn't make those simple throws to Percy Harvin, which is who they needed to get the ball to. But the O-line also didn't help him out too much.
Oh, they stunk. They were brutal.
Matt Khalil,
Yeah.
stepping wrong on every single play. I mean, he opened the gate for the D-line of Tampa Bay.
Cujo, tell us about your Vikings.
Okay, first of all, it's the Vikings. Get that right.
All right,
Clay.
whatever. Just keep talking.
Yeah. The thing is,
Your mouth.
we all know the Vikings are a running team. Now, they're trying to say Christian Ponder is not a game manager, but he is. Give the ball to AP. He's the beast. He's the offense. Don't matter what Percy Harvin is doing. Just give the ball to AP. He's AD all day. That's what it means, all day. Feed the beast, and he'll do plays. Come on.
Okay.
I have to totally agree with Cujo. They got to establish a run game with AP, starting with first downs. But I think we haven't seen the Vikings defense perform this poorly. It was partly due to the turnovers that set up the Buccaneers with good field position, but 36 points is a lot. I think one thing that you might overlook is Chris Kluwe, 38-yard punt average last night. In a game of field position, that's 10, 15 yards at every possession. You got to do better than that.
Yeah, and you know what? The funny thing about that is the Vikings, you know, when you talk to people, they're like, okay, we're going to take care of Tampa Bay because our defense is good and all that. Like you guys said, the defense, they laid an egg last night. That's not good enough to get it done. And against a Tampa Bay team that's not very good, to be honest with you. I'm surprised the Vikings lost a game like that. They should have taken care of business at home Thursday night. Tampa Bay is flying all the way out from Florida. That's a tough game to lose, and they took it on the chin too. Chris Kluwe's got to punt better, and you know what? The defense, they got to play better. Jared Allen had a sack, but they really didn't get a lot of pass rush on him the whole game. And Tampa Bay pounded the ball down their throats. So it was good for me, being a Bears fan. So I'm happy. Do you think you guys think the Vikings are a playoff team?
I don't want to count them out yet, but
they stink.
we'll see. They have they have 2 games that seem very winnable, at home against Detroit and at St. Louis. That put them at 7 wins. They got a game at Seattle. That's going to be a tough one. Say they get that, they're at 8 wins. 2 games against the Bears and the Packers, 1 against Houston. It'll be tough to get 2 wins out of that. I think you need 10 wins to make the playoffs, especially in the NFC.
Yeah.
Tough conference.
Yeah.
Well, it goes like this. The Bears and the Lions, you have to win those games. Now, the Bears are doing good and all that. People are happy, especially Clay. But let's be honest. At the end of the day, the Bears are not going to make the playoffs. Now, you can sit here and talk about
What
their
are you
record.
talking
Their
about?
record is right now.
They're 5-1. Okay.
Yes,
so,
I know. They're
the
5-1.
Bears aren't gonna make
Have you
the
checked their
playoffs.
record later
Okay,
on?
Cujo.
Have you checked their
What do you mean have I
their
checked their
schedule? No,
record?
their
Yeah, it's
schedule.
5-1.
Their schedule. Have you checked it? Have you checked their schedule?
Yeah, I checked their schedule.
They have
play
a tough-
Carolina
they
and
have tough-
Tennessee. Win-win.
Yeah, 2 games.
So that's 7-1. So they're gonna start out 7-1. You don't think they make the playoffs?
Either way, the Vikings are gonna make the playoffs, and I don't know who's gonna beat the other one. No,
Oh, my
you laugh
Lord.
at it. You laugh at it. all
I'm
you want,
laughing at
Clay.
you because you sound dumb right now.
Okay, whatever. Take it as you want. The Bears
Vikings are
fan
gonna-
that you are.
You really
but-
think the Vikings are gonna make the playoffs?
Yes, I'm being. Look at me. I'm being serious.
Let's just scrap. Let's talk about the NFC North then. Okay, what do you guys see going on in the NFC North? Cujo, we'll start with you since you seem to know everything.
Yeah, I know everything. You will see. It won't happen.
All right. Tell us about the
NFC North,
then.
right?
Yeah.
The Packers are probably gonna win the division. They're 4-3. Everybody's putting them down. Aaron Rodgers is back, and when he's back, he's back.
He never left anywhere.
He actually did. Early on in the season, he wasn't playing that good, so he actually did go somewhere. But another thing is, it's a toss-up between the Bears and the Vikings. It really is.
Joke.
It's not a joke. It is a toss-up. The
How's this a toss-up?
The Bears are not that much better than the Vikings. Let's be honest. They're not.
All right. I want you to tell the audience. Tell your little camera right there. What are the Vikings better at than the Bears? I'm waiting.
Pass defense.
What?
Are you serious?
Yes, I am.
Can you guys help me out
The
here?
Vikings secondary is made
Bears-
their part of
Bears-
their
Bears lead the
top 10 though.
NFL
They're
in
top 10
interceptions,
this
and it's
year.
not even close.
The top 10 this year.
Who leads the NFL in interceptions?
Okay,
Return
that's
for
not
touchdowns.
that's not the
The
whole
Vikings just
defense.
made Josh Freeman and John Skelton look like top-notch NFL quarterbacks. It's not
Hey,
pretty.
what you have it your way.
Here's
all
the
I'm
thing.
saying
You can talk about the Vikings. I don't think the Vikings are a bad team. I think each week when they play, they have a chance to win. I just don't think they're a playoff team. They're competitive. They could probably beat anybody, but week to week.
No, they couldn't beat anybody.
Week to week, I don't see it. They beat San Francisco. They caught them when they were looking. I think the Vikings are done. Honestly, I said this before, and everyone's
can
like,
you say
oh,
they're done?
Oh, you can't
okay,
stick
Clay.
a fork in them
Stick a
just
fork
yet.
in them.
You
Games
can't
in
do
the
that
season,
just
Clay,
yet.
they're
They
5-3.
play
They're not
Seattle.
3-5.
They're still 5-3.
Oh,
They're not
5-3, and then they play
3-5,
Seattle
Clay.
and
They're
lose.
Whoa.
5-3.
They're not going to beat the Bears or the Packers.
Okay, you really believe that? 4 games, they're not going to win any of them.
I really believe that.
Rivalry, tough
That's a
games
joke.
like that, I don't think you can count them out right away.
Yeah.
It's unlikely that they get more than 1 or 2 wins in those games, but it's definitely possible. NFC North, there's going to be 2 playoff teams.
Yeah.
Bears are definitely the front runner right now. I think between the Packers and the Vikings, they could both make it, but very unlikely, especially with all those games that they still have yet to play. Somebody is going to lose a bunch.
Yeah. What do you think, Michael?
I think the Packers, they've got it right now. Packers, they've got the best offense, I think, out of any team in the NFC North.
There you go. You're
And
right.
they got experience. I mean, when it comes down to those games in
Well, the
December.
Bears
and
don't
January-
have experience.
Come on, Jay Cutler.
What do you
Really?
mean? Jay
The
Cutler?
O-line,
Jay
the O-line,
Cutler-
the O-line won't block
Let
for
me
him.
ask you a question.
How do you
And
win when
and
Jay Cutler's
I mean
on the
this,
ground?
I mean this seriously.
How do you win?
You have a good point. They got to protect him better. But even with all that's happened, they're still 5-1. You guys,
Yeah, it's not because
at
Jay
what
Cutler.
point are you going to stop blaming everything on Jay Cutler when the team is 5-1? They're winning. They just
They're
beat
running
Detroit.
and they're playing defense. That's how they're 5-1, Clay.
They're not running. They've run the ball decent. They haven't run the ball that well.
Well, I didn't say all that well, but I'm
You
saying
got to understand though, the defense will keep playing good, but when the offense picks it up, that's when they're going to be on another level, and they're just going to keep getting better and better every year. Mike Tice, this is his first year as offensive coordinator for him. Every team knows there's a little adjustment between having last year Mike Martz and having Mike Tice now. I mean, Mike Martz, you want to do 7-step drops and throw it 30 yards every play, and they didn't have the offensive line that could pass protect. That's why they lost to Green Bay, because it was coaching. They got out-coached.
Right.
As bad as they,
It's not because
as bad
of
as
Jay Cutler.
as bad as they didn't
the
block
coach
for
is
him.
going to call the play,
How-
but the
how- let me ask
quarterback's
you a
got to
question.
execute.
Let me ask you a
Clay.
question. Can the quarterback play? Can the quarterback throw good if the line doesn't block for him?
No, I agree with that.
If the Bears block for Cutler, he's going to have success. It's been proven.
Watch Tom Brady. Watch Aaron Rodgers. Watch Peyton Manning. They release the ball quick.
He releases the ball based on how the plays are designed.
Could you just help this cause?
The Bears and the Vikings.
The Packers, the reason I think, though, it's not because the Bears are going to struggle when they play good teams. I think they're going to lose to Houston and all that. But the Packers, yes, they struggled, but they lost to San Francisco at home. We know that. They got a fluke call in Seattle. Those are two of their losses right there. I mean,
oh, really?
It comes down to it. I think
they lost to the Colts. The Colts! The Colts stink. I'm sorry. The Packers lost to the Colts.
The Colts beat the
Packers. You know what? Okay, they're average. I'll give you that. Here's the thing that you guys keep forgetting. Jason is the only one that is giving the Bears their due. You can roll over and say, oh, they only beat these teams. They're winning every week, and right now they have the best defense in the NFL.
No, they don't.
Oh, really? Who's better?
They're not going to get 2 touchdowns.
They're not going to give up any points.
They didn't get two touchdowns last week.
Yeah, and
they shut them down.
There's no way the defense is better than Texans' defense or
their
even
defense
the 49ers
is better.
The Texans' defense gave up 35 to
against Green Bay.
Okay. How many points?
The Bears gave up 1 offensive touchdown.
It didn't matter, but how many points did they give up?
They gave up 1 offensive touchdown and 2
points.
field goals, and 1 was a fake field goal for a touchdown. That's on the special teams. My point is, back to the Bears again. You guys can keep rolling over and say that this team is not going to be a playoff team or the Packers are. I could easily see the Packers win the division, but I don't think it's like cut and dry they're going to win. I don't think it's cut and dry the Bears are going to win either. But for you to just say that the Bears have no chance and everything, they match up pretty well with all the teams they're going to play. The only one I look on their schedule and say they're not going to win that one is San Francisco. Otherwise, the rest of the games for the season, I could see them win any one of them.
I'm not saying they don't have a chance.
When Jay Cutler is on, the Bears are a complete team.
And you know what?
And when is he on? Monday night. 1 out of 7 games.
Well,
that's
they
really
don't
not
need
true.
him to be completing every pass downfield.
When
They actually need him to be a game manager.
Here's
They're a lot like the Vikings.
This is why the Bears have such a good shot to make a long run, and there's other teams like this too, like Houston, that are balanced. Because when the Bears' defense isn't playing good and they can't run the ball, then they can depend on Jay Cutler to throw the ball. You know what I'm saying? On Monday night, they didn't need him to score a lot of points. They didn't need the offense to put up a lot because the defense was playing that good. So they were playing a conservative game. They were running the ball, and he got injured. That was part of the thing. He couldn't throw. They thought he had a cracked rib.
When does he not get injured?
He doesn't get injured that much.
Yes, he does.
Injuries.
He quit against his own team.
Oh my God!
Against the Packers.
You don't. All right. You should be banned from talking. You should be banned from talking about football.
No,
we're done. We're done with the NFC.
Be honest.
Cujo doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yes,
we're going to move on.
Whatever, have it your way.
We're going to move on to the power rankings. This is what we call outside the box hierarchy. This is our top 10 power rankings decided by the panel. With number 10, we got the Steelers at 3-3. Cujo thought they should be higher, but of course, that's Cujo.
Oh yeah.
Number 9, we got the Vikings at 5-2. Unfortunately, we did that before the game last night, so obviously that's why.
Fell a little bit.
Number 8, we got the Seahawks at 4-3. Number 7, we got the Patriots at 4-3.
I thought that was a joke. That's a
Number
joke.
6, we got the Packers at 4-3.
You're the one that wanted them up there.
And here's the top 5, which I agree with. I think this is about as correct as you can get. Number 5 is the Bears at 5-1. 4, we got the 49ers at 5-2. 3 is the Texans at 6-1. 2 is the Giants at 5-2, and the number 1 team, according to these guys, is the Falcons at 6-0. Let's talk about the best teams in the NFL. A lot of you guys think it's the Falcons. I don't, but Jason, who's the best team in the NFL right now?
Right now, I have to say it's the Falcons. They've played a lot of close games, but they're pulling it out. I think a lot of those teams, 2 through 5, it's really close. A lot of those teams probably would beat them, especially at home. But Atlanta's pulling it out in the clutch. Matt Ryan, he's done it all.
Look, I understand your point about they're pulling it out, but give me one decent good team that they've beaten.
They haven't beaten a lot of decent teams, I'll admit, but all the other teams they've lost. They haven't proven themselves.
Okay, but they lost to good teams though. Like the Bears lost to the Packers, who are a solid team. You're right, the 49ers, and we'll get into them later. But Cujo, what do you think?
Well, what do I think?
Who's best team in the NFL?
Best thing it's got to be the Texans. Now,
Really?
a lot of people are saying it's because it's defense. And when it comes down to it, Aaron Foster is probably the second best running back in the NFL right now, behind AP, of course. But don't smile. I'm being honest. I'm actually being honest.
Just keep going.
It's because of Aaron Foster. They got a really good running game. Andrew Johnson out the outside. They can throw the ball to him deep all the time. And the defense is as solid as they come in the NFL. So it's got to be the Texans.
What you think, Michael?
Well, I think it's Atlanta just because of the fact that they have the greatest offensive attack in national football right now. I mean, they've got Julio Jones on the outside. You don't double cover him, they throw to Roddy White. You want to double cover him, they throw back to Julio Jones. You can cover both of them, but then you still got Tony Gonzalez. Then you got Michael Turner.
Yeah.
They got to work on
Matty
their run
Ice in the
game.
clutch if
Michael
the
Turner.
defense
has
has
to
the ball.
I hear what you're
He's
saying.
regressed.
I hear what you're saying.
regressed.
Atlanta's a very good team, but the way I look at it is I don't think their defense is very good, and that's the difference between Atlanta. I think in the NFC, I think the Bears, the 49ers, and the Giants are all better. Right now, to me, the best team in the NFL is the Giants. That is the last team I would want to play because, as we saw in the Super Bowl last year in 2007, they can rush the quarterback, and they can bring like 6-7 guys in there. And I tell you what, if you're talking about overall best quarterbacks in the NFL, Eli is right there.
That is true.
I don't know if he's number one, but he is right there.
right
He gets
there.
it done when it counts, and that's back to the Falcons because I don't think Matt Ryan can get it done when it counts.
Are you kidding me?
Are you
And
kidding?
Matt
I think
Ryan's
he's
come
not-
I don't
clutch
think Atlanta's
a
the
lot
best
this
team.
season
Oh,
already.
What has he done in the playoffs? He's never even won a playoff game.
Okay, that's
Their
he's
team's
still-
never
he's
been
still-
this
he's
good.
still a young
So when it
quarterback.
comes
Give
to
him a break.
Atlanta, I think they're a good team, but I'm in a show me state right now. I don't exactly trust them. I trust them that they'll win the South. I don't know if I think they're the best team in the NFL.
probably gonna win the South.
They're
They're
in the
undefeated,
conversation
so.
though. They're gonna win the
No,
South. They're in the
that's a given.
conversation.
They're
Don't
gonna win.
trust him.
All right.
What about New Orleans?
Well, oh yeah.
They're
no
gonna
way.
go to the
Cujo, you
playoffs.
said they're making the
They're gonna go
playoffs.
to the
The
playoffs,
Saints
but
are
they're
not going to
gonna
make
win.
the playoffs.
Saints
what
are
are you
not
talking
making the
about?
playoffs.
The Saints are gonna make the playoffs. Get over it. They are gonna make the playoffs.
Not a chance.
Every time you got Drew
dear.
Brees in the backfield,
What's
that's
their
how you
record
know.
right now? What's the record right now? Even I mean,
Okay.
2-4.
You know,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
irrelevant.
you know
That's
that they were
irrelevant.
7-9
irrelevant.
once.
Right
when they
now
had
it is.
Drew Brees.
Right now, at this moment, it is.
They're going to have to
At
finish
the end of the
8-2.
season, you're gonna see the
8-2.
Saints in the
Eight and
Not
playoffs.
gonna happen.
Are they really going
have
to do
to
that? They have
get
a
10
tough
wins.
They
schedule.
went
Just to
13-3.
win in the-
You're acting like it's a new day in New Orleans.
But they also
Yeah,
didn't start out
Cujo.
2-4.
We understand they were a great team last year, but this year they're not. They're not. It's that
They're
simple.
sinking
I guess
ship.
we're just gonna have to see, don't we?
They're missing.
We're
All
gonna
right,
have to see.
yeah.
We're gonna have
You know
to
what?
see.
We're going to come back
We're
to
gonna
this
have to
point
see.
when Cujo said the Saints are going to make the playoffs because anybody in the right mind knows that he's nuts. But we'll come back to that on a different show.
We got about a month.
We got some big college games this week, fellas. We got some. This is one of the premier weekends of college football. We're going to start out with. We're going to take picks. Who you got? Florida, Georgia. Jason.
I'm going with Georgia in Jacksonville. I think Florida's a little overrated. Their defense looking real strong. Their offense is getting it done, but I think Aaron Murray and the Bulldogs are going to pull it out this weekend.
Well, it's one of those games you're like, there's no way Georgia wins. That's all I have to say.
No way. Not at all.
No chance?
You can
No
just
chance.
give $1 million
You're
to
gonna
any.
you're gonna book it.
Yeah,
All right, Cujo. Cujo thinks there's no way. All
It's
right,
a
Michael.
I got Florida. I mean, in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, it's got to be Florida.
very
In
true,
Jacksonville, Mike Gillislee, I think he gets a touchdown or two. It's going to be a real defensive game, so points are going to be tight. I think Florida edges it, though.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to also go with Florida. I think that Florida has one of the best defenses in the country, if not the best. They're probably right behind Alabama. They have a pretty good offense, so I think Georgia can compete with them. If Aaron Murray, if they can get around and throw the ball around a little and see if they can test Florida's pass defense, then they got a shot, but I'm with you guys. I think Florida should win that game. Texas Tech and Kansas State. We'll start with you,
that's a
Michael.
good one.
Optimus Klein's going to put this one on his back
okay.
for the
All
W.
right.
Well, yeah, I agree with Mike. It's got to be Colin Klein's the Heisman right now. I don't know anybody else is gonna win. Colin Klein, K-State, all the way.
Jason?
Well, it's funny. This game's irrelevant almost every year before this, but Kansas State's going to pull it out this weekend. They're looking
Kansas
too
State
good.
pretty easy. What do you guys? I would agree with that. With you guys on that. I think Kansas State should win. I don't think Texas Tech has much of a chance. What do you guys think about Colin Klein's chance at winning the Heisman?
80%.
80%. Wow, that's strong.
Yeah,
Really?
it is
Isn't
strong.
it?
That's
I gotta
strong.
let you know,
Wow.
it's 80%.
Hey, Kansas State loses 2 games though, and he's pretty much out of the race. I mean,
No, that's not
Okay,
true.
what's the
That's
difference?
not true. RG3 won with 3 losses
Yes.
on the schedule.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
You look at the
I'll
top
give you
teams
that.
in college football right now, they don't have that star. Alabama.
Exactly.
they
Alabama's
don't-
a complete team.
Oregon,
You can make an
Florida,
argument
they
for
don't
Kenyon
have
Barner.
Yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Kenyon Barner is pretty
Kenyon
good.
Barner
yeah.
maybe, but they
Kenyon
don't
Barner's
have
probably my
outstanding
second
Heisman
to copy
candidates
this.
like we've
so,
had years before.
Colin Klein has a good shot at winning.
Taj
but,
Boyd is doing good things in Clemson.
Yeah,
Threw a 5
yeah.
touchdown last night.
All right,
Heisman candidate?
let's talk about the big one. And
Wow.
this is the biggest
way.
game for the University of Notre Dame.
In almost
This is the
decade.
biggest game they played in a long time.
Let's just say, huh?
Notre Dame at Oklahoma. It's in Norman. Jason, who you got?
You know, I look at this game on paper, and everything tells me pick Oklahoma, just the past game in Norman. But my gut feeling says Notre Dame's going to pull this one.
Wow!
I think it's their year.
With the
That is a
upset.
very bold statement.
Going
think
with
it's
the
their year. Their
upset.
defense will pull
All
it.
right, I like it.
This is very hard because I like both teams. I've always liked OU because AP. He's my favorite player and all that.
Oh
but
God.
I gotta give it to
Yes,
Notre
yes,
Dame
AP.
because not only the defense is top 5 in the whole college football, they can really just run the ball and just kill the time. Just run.
So you're
run
saying
and pound.
Notre Dame's game plan is
just run
get the ball
pound,
get
and
the ball on the
defense.
ground and keep Oklahoma off the field.
Yes, because if
Keep
you
Landry
give a
Jones
little
off the field.
give a little Landry
Yeah.
Jones a little space,
Yeah.
he's gonna kill you.
No,
so.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Well, I don't know. I mean, going to Norman and getting a W,
Hey,
I'm just totally against that.
You don't see it?
Oklahoma.
you don't see it.
Oklahoma. I mean, if this, I have a
All
feeling.
right, give me a score.
I think it's going to be higher scoring than you would think. I think it's going to be 30 to 28.
All right, well, I'm a big Notre Dame guy, so this is tough for me, but honestly, I'm going to go with Notre Dame. I'm going to go with Notre Dame. I'm thinking their defense can somewhat slow down Oklahoma, and I think just like Cujo said, if they can get out and run the ball, they got a chance to keep Landry Jones off the field. And the thing you got to remember about Notre Dame's defense, the reason that they're the reason they got a shot in this game, not the offense.
No.
In years past for Notre
No.
Dame, their offense has been good and their defense couldn't hack it. This year, it's all about the defense. Their defense is just about as good as anybody in the country, and their front seven is like a SEC front seven.
Yes, yeah, of course.
There's multiple guys that are going to be playing in the NFL on that team. So Notre Dame's got a great shot, and I think they're going to go there and take care of business, and should be pretty exciting for them heading through the rest of the season. They got a good shot at the national title. We're going to talk about a guy, and it's been kind of sad couple weeks hearing about this for everybody I know because he was such a national hero. What's your reaction to Lance Armstrong, and has any of the allegations that have come up recently changed your opinion on him?
I mean, I've always thought Lance Armstrong, one of the greatest athletes ever. I mean, his story is just so great about how he fought through cancer, won all those Tour de France's. But, I mean, I got to say it was the right thing to do. I mean, Barry Bonds is the same similar story. I mean, it's the only thing I can possibly think of for it to happen. If you use an illegal substance, you can't be keeping those trophies. But it's not like you can just erase it from your memory. But it was about the best thing they could do in that situation.
What do you think
to
about
take
Lance
him away.
Armstrong?
well,
Cujo?
even if he kept the trophies, I believe all of them are tainted. So you said he's the best. Even if you say he's the best cyclist of all time, it's gonna be tainted because everybody's gonna keep talking about those substances and all that. If he doesn't use them, who knows if he wins all 7? So I believe he doesn't deserve them,
Yeah.
and then we should forget all the
What do you
7.
think, Jason?
Well, it really depletes a great story, Lance Armstrong, one of the best motivators of all time. But it really defines the steroid era as far as, mainly we saw it in baseball, but obviously it's prevalent in tons of sports throughout the early 2000s, late 90s. And we hear about, should he give the money back? There's no way you can do that. It's like trying to forget history.
People are saying he should get the money back.
Yep.
No, money he shouldn't, but the
chance.
trophies, for sure. The money he shouldn't.
For me, this is sad because when I was a little kid, I used to wake up every morning in the summer, June, July time, and I'd watch the Tour de France with my mom, and I'd always cheer really hard for Lance Armstrong because he was that American hero. And I think it's definitely tainted, but at the same time, you got to understand, cycling's even worse than baseball. You know what I mean? Baseball, it was around like 50% of the guys were using it. Cycling's even worse. I think all but one guy out of the recent champions have been caught. So, everyone was cheating, so he was doing it just like everybody else, but it's still tainted, and it really has a bittersweet ending to a sad story. So, but it doesn't take back what he did for thousands of cancer patients, so we'll always remember that. It looks like this is going to be the end of our show. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you'll tune in next week on same time, Friday at 2 p.m. You can check us out on Facebook at OutsideTheBox.Burnsville.